The Biden campaign is playing disinformation defense, launching a new team to combat alleged lies across social media and to push the president's 2024 messaging. This as courts are still deciding whether the Biden White House can work with social media companies at all due to First Amendment concerns in their handling of the pandemic. Journalist Matt Taibbi brought some of those issues to light in his Twitter files, and he joins us now. Matt, it's great to see you again. It's been quite some time, but there's no interest in giving this up, this fight against, quote, misinformation. From a campaign and Democratic Party platform to the heights of American government, they're just looking for new ways to pivot.
It's kind of amazing because how many of these anti-disinformation bodies do they really need? They already have countless numbers of them within the Pentagon. There's also the Department of Homeland Security has CISA. There's the Global Engagement Center and the State Department. The FBI does this kind of work. And now the Biden administration wants another body to look at this. And by putting somebody like Rob Flaherty at the center of this new effort, he's one of the most egregious actors in the Missouri v. Biden lawsuit. It's almost like an intentional insult to people who are worried about the First Amendment, because he was probably the reason why the judges in that case handed victories to the plaintiffs.
You know, I want to ask you about two other things, Matt, that I think at least are tangentially connected to something like this story. And that is, first of all, people are familiar with probably the case against Russell Brand, the allegations made against Russell Brand. But what's important for our discussion here is, I continue to be shocked at the way the rest of the world views free speech. The UK government is sending notes to social media companies saying to deplatform or demonetize Russell Brand. And I can't help but look at that and think, that's exactly the direction we're being pushed here in the United States.
Yeah, it's funny, and in researching the Twitter files, we found countless examples of NGOs or conferences where people would sit around and talk about how America needs to adopt European-style speech standards, which of course are much more stringent and involve restrictions on things like hate speech and in some cases misinformation that we don't have here in the United States. We have a very unique speech tradition in America that I think is very much worth upholding. And the Biden administration seems to think that it has some kind of prerogative that allows it to go out and, quote, police misinformation, right, which it does not. It's expressly prohibited from doing that in the Constitution.
Yeah, for now. I mean, it is. You're right. It's enshrined in the Constitution. There's still some justices and judges willing to protect that, but it certainly seems to be the push in that direction. And look, man, it is pushed by so many in the media, and that was the last thing I wanted to touch on with you. There was that article this week about, hey, we need to drop the pretense of neutrality. And whether or not the neutrality, objectivity, these are aspirations. I think we need to be honest with each other about our points of view. But I think the movement is to advance a propaganda agenda of one party points of view. And that's openly now being advocated.
Yeah, and this is something that I've been worried about for quite a long time. I mean, journalism is hard enough when the job is just worrying about getting things right. That's a full-time job already. And we didn't do such a great job of that even before we started taking on this additional responsibility, which a lot of modern reporters think they have, of worrying about whether the narrative is correct and whether audiences are responding correctly to the facts. So now there's this whole new movement where we sometimes decide that even if a thing is true, we won't report it because people might respond incorrectly to that. They won't take the right political message. That's not our job. Our job is just to tell you what we know, and then you do it. You figure out what to do with it yourself. And we're going away from that standard.
And if we're confident in what we know, it will survive the test of someone's challenge. That's the idea of free speech. By the way, you have a history of challenging me. I believe the last time we interacted, you called me an idiot on social media, which is great. And so I invite you onto my podcast, long form, Matt. Let's revisit that and some issues that you and I both care deeply about, like free speech.
Absolutely. Thanks, Will. And I love your stuff anyway, actually. I apologize for that.
You don't need to apologize. You disagreed with me. I was right, you were wrong, but you disagreed. It's fine. I'll see you, Matt. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.